Today I did something that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I fixed up a trellis that has been, well, parts of it have been lying around my yard for the last, year or so. And I espaliered my cherry tree, shrub, bush, plant against the brick wall of my home. So I've wanted to espalier a fruit tree for years, and I've never had a chance to do it because fruit trees are really expensive, and we don't often live in the same place for long periods of time. We've lived in this place now for 5 years, which is usually about as long as we live anywhere. And so I thought I would kind of show you what I did. I kind of like took pieces of wood from around the yard and fixed them up, attached an old weak trellis to a longer stick and or piece of wood that I then like pounded into the soil behind the shrub, and then very loosely, gently tied the cherry plant to the trellis. And so the idea within an espalier is that you can grow fruit in a small space. It's great for urban gardening, and works really well along brick, which is, we have a brick house, or we're living in a brick house, and so I just thought I would kind of show you what I did. Like everything, it's an experiment. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but I'm excited to try and to share that with you. So a couple years ago, I planted this cherry bush, shrub, tree-ish plant here, quite close to the wall of our little house. And my idea was that I would espalier this plant, which means like prune it in a certain way that it lies flat against the wall, and like tie it to a trellis so that it's stabilized. Last year, like it was really small when I first planted it, and it kind of got a little more established last year, and so I did a terrible job just tying it up to whatever I had on hand, which was this stick here. And so today I'm just going to use another trellis, use some other scraps I had lying around the yard to make a more substantial trellis, and then find a way to kind of tether the trellis to the wall, and then the sweet little cherry tree to the trellis, so that it has a chance. It's still like, it's like, it would be better to have done this a little bit ago, but or like before the buds started to leaf out, but I didn't have time. So you can see it's like the leaves are starting to squish against the brick here. And it really needs to be done now. So that's my plan for today. So this middle post here goes down like another 2 feet or so into the dirt. And I just kind of like took a hammer and, like you saw, smashed the hell out of it so that it went down into the soil. And then I tried to very loosely tie the plant branches onto the frame. You don't want to make them too tight or you can hurt the branches. And also at the same time I was pruning the bush. You really don't want to cut off more than 1/3 of the branches, especially for such a young plant. This one I planted 2 years ago. It was very tiny when I got it, like 2 just very small branches. And I tucked it in here. And these, yeah. I haven't actually had any fruit off this. It takes a long time to get fruit off of fruit trees and shrubs. But hopefully this year we'll have a little bit. Yeah, so I pruned off back branches so that the plant would lay flat against, or relatively flat against, the frame. I did leave, like sometimes, like you'll see some of these branches are kind of jutting out forward. On like an older, like traditional espalier, it's like pruned very flat. So you wouldn't have branches going out the back or the front. They're really like tied to the frame, strictly horizontal. But I didn't want to prune off too much because the plant is young, and I kind of wanted to give it some more fullness. So espalier is also nice because it really makes sure that your plant has a lot of air circulation and gets good sun, so that your plant doesn't like get moldy or diseases or things like that, which is great. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm excited to see how the plant grows throughout the season. I might continue trying to tie branches down as they grow, because plants grow, and may eventually even like add on to the trellis, depending how long we live here. So, thanks so much for coming. Have a good day.